Okay guys, how are you? It's Sunday afternoon here on the West Coast in BC, and I'm sitting in my backyard. Do you hear how nice and peaceful it is? A little bit of background noise, but it's not bad. I'm still very close to urban stuff, yet it seems I'm so far away from it. So anyways, today you guys, episode number 1 of Where You Eat, of the health eating guidelines that I have announced last week. And I'm so sorry I couldn't come on earlier today, even though I promised the noon Pacific time. That did not happen, and I couldn't upload my video, so I had to redo the whole thing right now. So I'm doing it right now. Okay, so listen up. Many years ago, when I worked in downtown Toronto at a law firm, and I was in my early 20s, so I never really thought about any of these things. But I do remember that at lunchtime we never could finish lunch or a bite, or never could chew our food because we had to pick up the phones and constantly were disrupted. And it just felt like every time I ate as if I had never eaten, because I still remained quite hungry. And by the time I got home from work, I was just like ready to kill for food because I was so hungry. And I remember that every time a fork or a cutlery approached my mouth, I had to do something else. Someone disrupted me, so I never could finish a meal. And I never really thought about this for so many years. And then even once I had my own business in the industry of law at the time, we still continued the bad habit, if I really think about it. And then at some point, I said to my ladies that work with me, let's go to the park, let's just go outside. If we're out of the office, at least we're not prompted to pick up the phones and deal with things that simply just should wait until after we ate our lunch and digested it. So what I was going to talk to you guys about today is as a healthy eating guideline, and it's super important. So I want to read a couple of things from my books for you, right? So listen, food should be taken always in a proper place, okay? Very important. Before concerning oneself with how to eat, we really have to think about the location of where we do our eating. The environment one eats in affects digestion. So if you don't want to feel always bloated or uncomfortable or heavy in some ways, or maybe you have acid reflux now, or some other annoying digestive problems, then this is a really important rule, as rule number 1 of where we eat, to keep in mind based on Ayurvedic principles. So certain environments that are just not very nice, let's just say very cluttered, or even maybe dirty, or you just don't even see almost anything on the dining table other than papers and clutter, and then it's almost like your plate is the last little tiny spot that there was on that table. That is not a good environment. So those environments interfere with digestion. And as such, I want to say to you that for maximum digestion, the environment should be always very calm and very peaceful and very pleasant. So an ideal environment for eating is quiet. This is another thing that I always have been thinking of before I actually learned this as a healthy eating guideline, to be honest with you, that we're so accustomed and conditioned in our society to spend time with our family while we're eating, and everybody's in the kitchen, everybody's gathering there, and everybody could be noisy, or you could have background noise or music, or maybe louder than it should be, maybe not the right kind of music, maybe the television is on. So those are not how we should be eating. So that is not a quiet place. That is not a supportive space for digestion. So the environment should be peaceful and quiet. And the only thing that if there is any sounds should be of nature. So it has to be pleasing to the senses. You see, guys? It has to be, or should be, I should say, your environment for eating should be fragrant and clean and beautiful and somewhat organized, so that you can have that sacred experience with your food, or your wholesomeness with food, because it will become you. You know, I also see a lot of people at like, you know, in all of the cities, doesn't matter. I saw it in Toronto, see it here in Vancouver, and they're running and jogging in the middle of the day when the sun is at its highest. I will tell you something, you guys. No, that is not what we do for harmony. When the sun is out at its highest peak, you're supposed to digest. It's supporting your digestive fire. It's fire energy. That's when you should eat your main meal. So wherever you live in the world, wherever you are, whatever is the highest, you know, point for your sun at your location, that's where you should generally have your main meal, but most certainly not exercise in the sun. So they also say that facing east is actually a good thing, because that is where the sun rises, and that helps your digestive power, digestive fire to really be, you know, activated, so to speak. According to some ancient Ayurvedic texts, and I want to quote for you from the Charaka Samhita, one should take food in the proper place, equipped with all the accessories. By doing so, you don't get afflicted with such of the factors as would result in emotional strain. So, you know, the dining table should not be a place to discuss, you know, work or or obligations of any kind, really. It should be not that we talk either, because when we talk, we're not able to chew the food properly, and we're not able to excrete the enzymes that are really necessary to digest our food, let alone the fact that we don't even have enough enzymes as we're aging. So that's another story. But in order to actually activate the right enzymes, digestion always starts in the mouth. So that's a real thing there, right? Okay. And I just want to say to you guys that the kitchen area where you are, or your dining table, always should be, again, free of dirt, trash, or clutter. So it has to be pleasing to the eye. Maybe candle, maybe some soft music in the background. As it's also very important who prepared that meal, and in what environment, and what kind of energy went into that meal. So this is really super important. A modern day kitchen nowadays, as I have said, is like a social activity, you know, location, and it shouldn't be really with people experiencing a wide range of emotions. Some people are positive, some people are laughing, some people have too much energy, some people are lethargic, or maybe just not so well that, I don't know, they can express something negative from their days. So the people congregate in the kitchen, we say, and it is a true story, right? And then people also tend to walk straight into the kitchen, and they're bringing all kinds of dirt with them from outdoors and all, with their footwear and that. And that is another thing to consider for your clean environment. By the way, there are many studies that actually say that, or show that there's certain type of bacteria that you're bringing in with your footwear to the house, to the kitchen, to the dining area, actually can trigger intestinal and urinary tract infections and meningitis and diarrheal diseases. Right? So this is something to keep in mind. So what else I want to say to you is you need to consider your environment once again for a nice, clean, peaceful, harmonious environment when you're eating your food. But is your place peaceful when you're eating? It's very important to consider, because if it isn't, then that is not optimal and it will not support your digestion. Many people are constantly on the run, at places of work, or they're eating out of brown paper bags, or they're just gulping down their food because they've got 20-minute lunch breaks, which is, by the way, if you are an employer and that's what you're doing, you got to change your game. No human being is going to sustain harmonious homeostasis or harmonious being and existence and strength and stamina for you as a company if you give them 20-minute lunch breaks, because you cannot simply possibly properly eat and digest your food in that period of time. So that goes, even, you guys, I'm very flabbergasted, and always have been, that even in the school system the children are not given sufficient time for their lunch, and that is not good. That is setting them up for failure even before they grow up and they already start having digestive tract problems. Okay, so this is extremely important, that the place where you're eating should be harmonious. So what I want to say is that when you eat in noisy cafeterias or under bright fluorescent lights, or cluttered dining areas, or noisy cafes, or just a lot of noise in the background, or in the car, or way to work, or you're just gobbling it, or you're eating while you're actually eating, like engagement of some sort of a conflict or an argument or a conversation, a debate of any kind, that's going to disrupt your digestion. So this is super important, that you need to sit down, and generally speaking you need to be only with you and the food. So therefore social interaction should be minimized, really, honestly. And I don't think it's something we're not able to do. It's something we can all do. Okay. So yeah, so this is extremely important, that the body digests the food well, because then, you see, even if you eat the best food and you make it beautifully and you prepare it and it's organic and it's pesticide and herbicide free, and you apply all kinds of beautiful habits or technologies, or just procedures in your life to keep your food clean, even then, if you are not digesting properly what you eat, it won't convert to quality tissue. It actually is not able to convert into tissue that is quality. So you might produce a lot of tissue of lower quality and higher quantity, which we know what that means. It means weight gain. Okay, so not just that, because most importantly what it means is accumulating not digested food in your body. And then when you look at your tongue, and if you have this super awful coating on your tongue, then you need to question as to how you eat, especially for those people who actually experience that or experience the other thing, which is all digestive, which is, like I said, bloating, gas, diarrhea, weight gain, acid reflux. I mean, it could be just all kinds of things connecting to digestion that could be curbed if you actually keep this. Rule number one: choose the place and environment of where you eat carefully. Okay, I mean, if you light some candles, it represents actually the fire energy, which maybe helps your digestive system. And there are many other cool, simple, ancient, tips that I can give you about digestion. Hit me up at wellnesswavecreations.com is the website, and I hope that you like it. We've been working at it very hard and continuously are at improving the website so that it can represent and give you the message of exactly what we do here at Wellness Wave Creations. I also have the YouTube channel up and running under the same name, Wellness Wave Creations. Also hit me up here on Facebook, either on this page under the same name, Wellness Wave Creations, or you could just messenger us, or you could email us, or you could find us in Instagram under Wellness Wave Creation and message us there. So anyways, there's so many different ways to get in touch, and maybe I could see you here locally in BC or online globally if you're connecting with me that way, because you're not close enough to see my studio or my practice in person. Okay, so this was for today about the where to eat. Super important of where we actually digest our food. Okay, so really, rule number one: take food in a peaceful and beautiful environment. Okay, it was me, Sunday. I'm gonna go back to my backyard and continue my weeding in the garden. Okay, have a little afternoon, sun still, and get ready for the week. All right, see you guys soon. Ciao. Oh, you guys are gonna have to check out our YouTube channel coming up soon with rule number 2, which will be I'm not gonna tell you. Come and join in, and I will give you rule number 2, healthy eating guidelines to improve your digestion naturally at home, so you can take charge and be in control of yourself, of your digestive tract. Okay, ciao, namaste.